quick little setup because this I'm reading from chapter 42, well on into the story, and just as the setup, my my heroine in Jess has is down in Brazil at this conference, as indicated earlier, and Bill Black, the undercover CIA agent, has been trying to keep an eye on her with a lot of other things going on. And they've spent some dinners together and made got a bit of a relationship. Well, meanwhile, the drug dealer, the head drug dealer, who hates Bill Black because he blames him for something that happened a year ago.
Mhm.
He's looking for revenge. And so he has his thugs watching the hotel where Bill and Jess are staying. They've been shadowing him all over town. And the bad guy says, okay, when they come out, take them. I want to deal with Bill Black myself in person. Well, he doesn't come out. He's been doing other things. So Jess happens to come out one morning to take a walk. Well, they grab her,
Mm.
and the kingpin says, that's okay, take her to the warehouse, and I'll just use her as bait, because he'll come after her. So that's what we're going to do. So now here she is. She's stashed in this warehouse, doesn't know why she's been taken, and she's just, so upset trying to figure out what she can do and how in the world she's going to get away. And the two thugs have gone out for lunch, just tied her up there to a chair. And this is her scene. They were gone. Jessica was alone for the first time in hours. They had left the duct tape over her mouth, but she was pretty sure she could deal with that. Twisting her body, she leaned over to where her right hand was taped to the arm of the chair. Trying to move her fingers, she pulled and yanked and was able to get her thumb and forefinger out about an inch. She leaned way down. With her two fingers, she grabbed an edge of the tape on her cheek. Her nails dug into it. She pulled the tape and forced her head back at the same time. The duct tape came away from her mouth, and she took a deep breath. Ah, I could sure use some water. Can't think about that now. I have to concentrate. Let's see if I can bite the other tape off my hands. She hunched over again, tried to pull it away on the right side, but the ends were taped under the chair arm. All she could do was lift up the edges a tiny bit more. Jess began scanning the room, the shelves and the equipment on the staging table, equipment for dealing with drugs. Over at the end, she saw a can. It looked familiar. She started to inch her chair along the floor, slowly moving the chair legs with her feet. She felt it scrape on the cement little by little. It was slow going, but she didn't want to tip over. She had to stay steady. As she got near the end, she looked closer. It was a blue can with a yellow and blue label, WD-40. Ha! We had tons of those in her dad's hardware store where she used to work for the summer. She knew it was silicone spray, and silicone spray could loosen an adhesive. She wiggled and pushed until the chair was right next to the table's edge, then stretched forward and clamped her teeth over the top of the can where that little red spray straw was connected. She slowly turned her head, leaned down, and managed to shove the end of the straw underneath the edge of the tape, covering her right hand. Studying the can against her chest, she pushed down on the top with her nose. She heard a small sound as a bit of the WD-40 was shot under the duct tape. She stopped, tried to move her hand. The tape was slightly loosened. She repeated the process over and over until she felt the adhesive give away and pull her hand free. Yes, she cried out to the empty room as she quickly pulled the tape off her left hand, then started to work on her ankles. She had no idea how much time she had before the men came back. She only knew she'd better work fast. With the can placed back on the table, she got up and raced to the back room where she found a glass, filled it with water from a grimy sink, and took a big gulp. She also saw a bathroom, quickly used it, rushed back. Then she saw a microwave and a small refrigerator, but she didn't have time to look for anything to eat. She had work to do. She saw her purse with its contents spilled out on a small table. Her driver's license, wallet, money, and credit cards were all there. They took my cell phone. Why didn't they take the money? She quickly stuffed everything in her bag, turned and hurried back out to the front entrance area and tried to open the door. Just as I figured, bolted from the outside. She looked around again. No windows. Now what? I can't just stand here. When they come back, they'll tie me up again. There has to be something in here I can use. Once again, she inspected the crates and the shelves. There were hammers and nails. She might be able to use a hammer, but not if there are two of them. Besides, they were bigger than she was. That was a non-starter. The plastic bags wouldn't help. The scales wouldn't be much use either. Then she saw something else. As she reached for it, she thought, could this be a great weapon or what?